It's Wednesday, the 4th of March. From the MEN newsroom, this is Channel M's Lunchtime News, and these are today's headlines. 600 staff are to go at ITV. Workers here in Manchester are waiting to hear how many of them will lose their jobs.
We've announced an additional reduction of 600 posts. This comes on top of our previously announced headcount reduction of 1,000 posts, which together represents a 25% decrease in total headcount.
Also coming up, the breast cancer appeal that needs women to give up their old underwear.
The money is going to go to local and national breast care charities and breast cancer charities. We cover in the pink for breast cancer care, and there's a local Macmillan Nurses breast team that we support as well.
And why Manchester's Lord Mayor's had to cover up her latest hairdo.
We had the Freedom of the City event for Bobby Charlton. My hair's blue at the moment, and because it was United, I thought, what am I going to do? So I decided to put the white wig on.
Good afternoon. We start with details of massive cuts at ITV. Hundreds of jobs are to go across the country. Staff have been listening to briefings from the chairman, Michael Grade. Here in Manchester, workers at Granada are still waiting to hear the details of how badly affected they'll be. Kevin Duffy looks now at what we know so far.
In the end, the news was as bad as expected. ITV boss Sir Michael Grade's internet broadcast confirmed that up to 600 jobs will be cut at the national broadcasting company ITV. It's not just employees who'll suffer either. Client companies will be hit hard, and shareholders will get no final dividend this financial year. Clearly, the outlook is grim for an industry which depends on advertising in the middle of a recession. But where does all of this leave the viewers? Well, today ITV has confirmed that it plans to make savings of around about 65 million on network programming this year, with no increase in spending next year and savings of a further 70 million in 2011. Now, as far as regional news is concerned, and of course some of that goes on here in Key Street in Manchester, well, they're depending on £40 million of savings in that department. So those are the numbers. But what does all this translate into when you simply turn on your telly? Well, there's strong indications today that production of the well-known programme Countdown will be transferred from Yorkshire to right here in Manchester, and further down the line, production of the soap opera Coronation Street, produced right here in the city centre, remember, is going to be transferred to the presently under construction Media City in Salford. The irony today is that in delivering his gloomy news, Sir Michael Grade used the internet, the medium regarded as being the greatest threat television has ever known. Kevin Duffy for Channel M News.
Pakistani police have arrested some suspects over yesterday's ambush on the Sri Lanka cricket team. 6 police officers and 2 civilians were killed in the attack, which left 7 players injured. Officials there admit that none of those being questioned are the gunmen. They're searching for up to 14 who sprayed the tour bus with bullets and also fired a rocket and a grenade. A former England batsman who shielded a wounded Pakistani umpire after the shooting is arriving back in Manchester this lunchtime. Chris Broad is being hailed a hero for his actions. He was travelling behind the bus as it was ambushed, and we'll be hearing from him in our early evening news at 5 o'clock tonight. Police investigating a raid on the home of Manchester United star Darren Fletcher have made an arrest. They've questioned a 28-year-old man on suspicion of aggravated burglary after the house in Bowden was targeted last week. He was in Italy for the club's Champions League game at the time. 2 women were threatened while the couple's young twins were also at home. A man's been kicked unconscious in Staley Bridge and had his head stamped on so hard he was left with a footprint across his face. The 31-year-old needed 19 stitches in his head after the attack early on Monday morning. He was walking home with a friend along Stamford Street after watching the football. A group of people approached him and then 3 men in the group began their attack. 4 schools in Salford that have installed CCTV cameras to monitor the standard of teaching are being criticised by unions. Teachers at Harropfold, Albion High, St George's and the Oasis Academy have their lessons checked in special training rooms. They wear earpieces so they can get feedback from mentors as the class goes on. Well, joining us now to talk a little bit more about this is the deputy head of one of the schools that's involved, Peter Fisher. Peter, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in. First of all, give us an idea how this actually works in your school.
Well, firstly, the room has been set up for the last 3 years, and the two primary purposes of the room are firstly to coach teachers. It's all about improving standards of teaching and learning, and in our school teachers are paired, they're all volunteers, and they help each other to improve on their teaching techniques, and that will hopefully impact, it does impact, on the learning of the pupils in their classes. The second major use of the room is in terms of use and innovation. We have used the room with the University of Plymouth, where they have recorded lessons, used it for inset purposes. The University of Edge Hill have used our room to record exemplar lessons for use in teacher training.
Now, there has been some criticism of this, some of the teaching unions calling it a little bit Big Brother. I think one of the quotes, unnecessary and intrusive, they said. What do you say to that?
Well, firstly, every teacher who uses the room is there as a volunteer. But I think it's slightly disingenuous of the unions, because these rooms are for improving standards, and they are proven, particularly in our school, to improve standards. It's nothing to do with behaviour, it's nothing to do with spying on teachers. It's about an improvement agenda to improve standards of teaching and learning.
And how do the teachers actually cope with it, knowing they're being watched and also having the instructions fed down to them?
Very rarely would we use the headphone, in actual fact. Basically, we would record a session, and the coachee would teach the lesson, and the coach would then meet up at an arranged date, and they would discuss how that lesson could have been improved. And the coach and the coachee would take on board any ways that they could improve standards.
OK, thank you very much for joining us this lunchtime. We'll have much more on this in our early evening news from 5 o'clock tonight. Two directors of a firm that supplied fake ID cards have been warned they could be jailed. Adrian Holmes and Lucy Sanders from Lymm in Cheshire have been prosecuted in the first case of its kind in the country. The pair made between £100,000 and £200,000 as part of the operation that also involved sending out fake driving licences. Some of the documents they supplied included holograms and embedded computer chips and could be used by people to get round alcohol and driving laws. They'll be sentenced next month. A pensioner's died after getting hit by a car in Stockport. The crash happened just after 7 o'clock last night opposite the Fir Tree pub on Gorton Road. The victim, believed to be 70, was taken to hospital with a serious head injury but later died. Robbers have pointed guns at staff during a raid on a McDonald's in Bagley. One of the three thugs guarded the door to the burger bar on Altrincham Road to stop customers getting out. His two accomplices then climbed over the counter and threatened workers. No one was injured. Now, you might remember yesterday we told you about the research showing how more children are ending up obese because their parents are too scared for their safety to let them play outside. Well, at a school in Droylsden, they've come up with a novel way of getting youngsters to exercise. They're using dance mats.
Got is a great new way of keeping fit. It's the dance mats that Medlock Leisure Centre in Droylsden have supplied us with to use, and it encompasses all aspects of PE: coordination, fitness, aerobic skills. And it even gets the kids interested who are not so interested in PE. It's been a massive amount of fun here today. We've got 60 kids demonstrating. We're letting another 180 kids have a go through the course of the morning, and we've even had some adults having a go as well. Basically, we've got a large screen with music, and the children have to stamp on a particular part of the mat at a particular time that then will give the beat and gives them a score. Then at the end of each session, we get a roll call of who's scored and who's won, who's come second, who's come third. So there's an element of competition too that we've had, it's good. All good stuff. It's the future.
Right, time for some sports headlines now. Here's Mike Bradley with a look at the League One and League Two results.
Thank you, James. Stockport County travelled to the Walkers Stadium looking to end Leicester's 21-match unbeaten run, but they were forced to settle for a point. That was after Chris O'Grady's strike cancelled out Kyria Gilbert's early goal for the Foxes. County 2 points off the playoffs as a result. In League Two, Rochdale slipped up 2-1 at Barnet. Macclesfield Town went down 1-0 at Brentford, while Bury, somewhat surprisingly, suffered a second successive defeat, losing 2-1 against Chesterfield. That was at Gig Lane. In the Premiership, United play Newcastle at St James's Park a little later, where the home side will be missing several first-team players, including Nicky Butt, Michael Owen, Danny Guthrie and Joey Barton. But despite that lengthy injury list, Sir Alex won't be taking the game lightly.
I certainly didn't think Tottenham were scared of us on Sunday. You know, they got about the job in a very positive way, I thought, and made it a really tough game for us. I don't think teams actually scared, are afraid of us. I don't think that's the case. I think the respect is there, obviously, but we earn the respect by performance level, but it's not easy.
United, who have lost only one of their previous 28 games, have decided not to risk John O'Shea for this evening. City will have to face Champions League hopefuls Aston Villa at the City of Manchester Stadium without Craig Bellamy, Rubino and Micah Richards. Emile Heskey ruled out for the visitors after failing to shake off an Achilles injury. The Manchester Phoenix bounced back from Sunday's heavy defeat against Coventry. They hammered the Basingstoke Bison 5-2 in Altrincham last night. A Lucas Burnett double and strikes from Alex Dunn, Luke Fulgham and Brett Cloutier securing the welcome win, with the Phoenix back in action tomorrow night when they'll host the Edinburgh Capitals in Altrincham. Now, as we announced last week, Jason Robinson has returned to Sale Sharks as head coach, and having vowed 18 months ago never to return to the sport, he's been explaining just why he's back at Edgeley Park.
Although I've sat there at times and watched the games, I've never really wanted to come back in a playing capacity, although I've had quite a lot of offers to come out of retirement to go back playing. But this really, it caught me off guard, to be honest with you. But at the same time, you know, life's always been about challenges for me and opportunities, and working with Kingsley and the other coaches, with Phil here at the club, you know, I spent such a great time working for is, you know, as an opportunity I'm certainly not going to turn down. I'm not going to turn up on day one and have everything sorted out and for things to go exactly as planned. You know, I realise there's a lot of hard work that has got to go into this, both on and off the field. But, you know, it's an adjustment that, you know, we'll all have to make. But at the same time, because there's that respect there, that mutual respect, I'm sure, you know, I can add something to what is a very good side at the moment.
And finally, some early Premiership team news for you. Ricardo Gardner looks set to start for Bolton this evening. That's for their trip to Stoke, while Antonio Valencia and Mido are both included in Wigan's squad for the visit of West Ham. That's all your sport from me for now, but Sam Goodman will be with you from 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Mike, thanks very much for the update. Plenty more to come on the Lunchtime News, including forget burning your bras. The message now is to recycle them in aid of breast cancer, and why Manchester's famously colourful Lord Mayor decided to go for something rather more demure on Monday night.
We had Freedom of the City event for Bobby Charlton. My hair's blue at the moment, and because it was United, I thought, what am I going to do? So I decided to put my white wig on, so there'd be no comments.
Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. We've got all the day's main headlines for you every day between 12 and 1, and they're always online as well. You can go to channelm.co.uk to see this programme again and all our other reports, including our interview with the sailor who's now back home after weeks drifting in the Atlantic, and the churches here in Greater Manchester that'll benefit from hundreds of thousands of pounds in grants. That's at channelm.co.uk. Next, we've been asked to recycle many things in the past: paper, cans, glass, but now there are calls for women to recycle something much more personal, and this has a serious side to it. It's to raise money for breast cancer, the most common form of the disease in the UK, which kills 125 women every day.
I've come to recycle my bras.
Fantastic. So this is one of the bras that you're recycling. Now, what do we women do with our bras? It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
What do you do with yours?
Well, I usually send them to church. But now I've seen this, I'll be dropping them in here.
I don't know about you, but I've got plenty of these festering away in my drawers. Yes, bad bras with little lustre left and destined for the dustbin. But ladies, listen up. These bras could help raise cash for charity. Bliss Lingerie Shop in Hyde has set up a bra bank, and for every 17 recycled bras, £1 will go to breast cancer charities here and in the developing world.
The money is going to go to local and national breast care charities and breast cancer charities. We cover in the pink for breast cancer care, and there's a local Macmillan Nurses Breast team that we support as well.
From double A's to double D's, no bras are barred here. Now, a lot of women will look at their bras and think, oh, I'm not sure, keep that in the drawer a little bit longer, or should I throw it out? When do we know a bra's dead?
When you don't want to wear it anymore, when you haven't worn it for more than a couple of months, or when you feel it doesn't fit you properly, or you feel it's uncomfortable wearing it, come and bring it to Bliss and let's recycle it.
According to research carried out by Bliss Lingerie, every woman in Tameside at least will have one bra in their underwear drawer that they no longer wear due to a mistake purchase or a change in bra size. So don't hang on to them, hand them over. Beverly Walkden for Channel M News.
Cancer patients could benefit from a new partnership between the Christie and drugs giant AstraZeneca. Doctors at the world-renowned cancer centre in Withington will be using the firm's new cancer drugs for trials on patients once AstraZeneca have tested them first. They'll be doing at least one trial a year for the next 4 years. 30 students from across the region have come face-to-face with a life-size robot that breathes, talks and coughs blood. It's part of a 2-day event to show sixth formers what it's like to work in the NHS.
To the side and then push it down.
We're trying to encourage teenagers and sixth formers from our local population to become health service workers. There is a general reluctance of people from Manchester joining the Manchester Healthcare Service, and the University of Manchester, together with Wythenshawe, are attempting to recruit people, first of all by offering them a mentorship programme to guide them through their studies as senior students at school, and then to give them an opportunity to come and see, to try and encourage them to come to Manchester University so that they can work in our local hospitals and provide our healthcare workforce in the future. The idea of this particular weekend is to give them a sense of what it's like to be a healthcare worker, to explain that there's more than just doctors and nurses that work within a hospital. We have 6,000 staff in the local area in Wythenshawe, and we need to show the students that there is a range of career opportunities here, that there is job security, that healthcare is an expanding field, and that it is an exciting and a fun place to work. And I think the idea of seeing the health service as a privileged position where you have access into people's lives, trying to help them when they're sick, trying to organise management plans for them so that their quality of life is improved is very, very important. And this weekend gives the students an opportunity to see what it's like to be a healthcare worker.
Virgin Trains has lifted its controversial ban on kissing on the platform at Warrington's Bank Quay station. Rival rail firms put up kissing welcome here signs after the rule came in 3 weeks ago. New Kiss Me Quick and Kiss Me Longer boards have now been commissioned. A spokeswoman for Virgin Trains says the original signs were put up tongue-in-cheek. Now, a bishop in Italy has told young Catholics they should give up sending text messages during Lent. Monsignor Benito Cocci doesn't want them to use their phones on Fridays so they can detox from the virtual world and get back in touch with themselves. Millions of messages are sent every month, and we've been out asking people in Fallowfield how easily they think they could do without their handsets.
I think it could be actually a good thing, because I think generation below our generation, we've all grown up since 9, 10 texting people, whereas I think, and they've all got mobiles and stuff. So
usually with texts you can just get straight to the point, but if you phone someone they'll just be waffling on and on and on, and then that's my credit gone.
I text a lot to my daughters, yeah. It's cheaper to text than it is to phone.
I think I could do it, I'd just start calling people more. But it would be quite hard, yeah.
You can't get hold of everyone all the time, so at least, if you send a text, as soon as I see the phone, as I say, they'll get it.
Now to a mystery surrounding the Lord Mayor of Manchester, but this is not a tale of political sleaze. As far as we know, there are no skeletons in her closet. This is, though, a mystery that's here today and gone tomorrow. To explain it all, here's Claire Fallon.
She's Manchester's chief citizen. Her role is a prestigious one at the heart of local government. But Mavis Smitherman probably doesn't look like most people expect a Lord Mayor to look. The Lord Mayor of Manchester has a habit of dyeing her hair all the colours in the rainbow. And yes, I know it doesn't look that blue at the moment, but she promises me a couple of days ago it was. And that meant a slight problem when it came to hosting a big United event.
Couple of nights ago then, your hair wasn't looking like this, was it?
No, it wasn't. We had Freedom of the City event for Bobby Charlton, and unfortunately my hair's blue at the moment, and because it was United and I'm a red, and I thought, what am I going to do? So I decided to put my white wig on, so there'd be no comments.
Blue would have been a bit inappropriate, wouldn't it?
Oh, it certainly would, and I said that to Alex Ferguson. I said that's why I had my white wig on.
I mean, what was the thought process over the weekend when you realised that you had this big United event coming up, big occasion, all the Reds were going to be there, and you were there with blue hair?
Well, I was panicking. I thought, well, I can't get my hair done. It was too late to get it done red and white, but then again, I knew I was going to get it done green this week. So the only alternative is to wear a white wig and be neutral, really, wasn't it?
So where's this hair dyeing thing come from for you?
I've done it for years. I've had it multicoloured. It's been purple, shocking pink with lavender. It's been lilac and turquoise. It's been blue. Well, it's fading blue now. It was red and white for Christmas, though. And it gets done green and white tonight, ready for the launch of the Irish Festival on Friday.
So there we have it. The mystery of the mayor and her ever-changing hair is solved. Oh, and after the green for St Patrick's Day, she says she's looking ahead to St George's Day. So watch this space. Claire Fallon, Channel M News.
After a bright start, the rest of the morning's been looking fairly grey. Checking the forecast for us now, here's Michelle Eagleton.
Well, I have to say the weather's looking really nice this Wednesday. We're seeing some really nice sunny spells across Greater Manchester. It's pretty much been that way since this morning, highs of 7 and 8 degrees. So although we've got the sunshine out, there will be a little bit of a chill out there as well. Wrap up nice and warm and enjoy all that sunshine. I'll take you through from this morning and tell you exactly what we had. Now, it was a heavy cloud really until about 9 o'clock, and then the cloud lifted. We saw some of those really nice patches across most places. As we move into the main part of this afternoon, though, we are going to see just a few showers kicking in. Don't worry about them too much. They're not going to be around very long, because by tea time we are going to see some more sunshine on its way. A really nice night is expected, dry and bright for most people. It's going to go cold though overnight. I will warn you, temperatures dropping to about 1 degree, and we are expecting a little bit of frost and maybe even some snow tomorrow. That won't stay long, because on Friday we are going to see some sunshine and cloud, but get your umbrellas ready for Saturday. I'm afraid it's rain.
This is Channel M. Our top stories. 600 staff are to lose their jobs at ITV. A series of cuts have been announced to deal with huge losses caused by a drop in advertising. Some posts will go at Granada here in Manchester, but worst hit will be the studios in Leeds, where one building will be mothballed, leaving only Emmerdale in production. Former England batsman Chris Broad's arriving back in Manchester this lunchtime after being hailed a hero in the Sri Lankan cricket bus shooting. He shielded a Pakistani umpire after he'd already been injured in the attack. The rest of the team are now back home. And unions are criticising 4 schools in Salford that have installed CCTV cameras. They're there to train teachers. Those are the latest headlines, and that was the Lunchtime News. We'll have more on all those stories with Andy Crane in our early evening news from 5 o'clock tonight, but from me and the rest of the Lunchtime team, have a good afternoon. Bye-bye for now.